Hello, beautiful beings of light. My name is Asya, and today I wanted to talk to you about all things tech related to a yoga business and how to create an online presence and present yourself with a cohesive style, clarity, and all of those things. So I'll begin this seminar by just talking about what I think should be the first kind of thing that you want to think about as you start thinking about how you want to take your business online and come to the world and present yourself. So I think Instagram is a really powerful place to start because in a way it is a place where a lot of people's attention is, and it is a way to really come to and present yourself in a really clear way. So whether you have an Instagram account now or you're thinking about maybe starting one, some of the things that you want to start to think about is what is your kind of connecting to your mission statement. What is your soul's purpose? And I know that earlier in this course, many of you probably wrote out your mission statement. And I'm going to put up a slide now on the screen that shows different emotions. So when someone comes to your Instagram account, what are the emotions that you want them to feel? And so it's kind of, this is a way of tying the emotional component into what you are trying to convey on your site. And I think it's really important to start the process here because it allows you to have kind of clarity into what direction you're going. I think many times we are multifaceted and we have many assets to ourselves, but it's important to kind of show up and have a flashlight direction versus a scattered beam direction of what we want to convey with our thoughts and with our ideas. So take a look at this list that I've just put up on the screen and look at the words and what are a few of the words. Take a moment right now maybe to jot down what are some of the words that really resonate with you in your heart, and what is it that you want to show up with. So I'll give you a second here. Awesome. So maybe you jotted down a few of those words. And then basically now let's think about how we can take those words and really start to create images or create content that's inconsistent. And so these are just words, descriptive emotion words that are helping you kind of align your mission with an emotion with then content that you're going to create. So now maybe think of some images, and I'll show an example here of maybe 3 different images for a specific word. So let's take a word like love, because that's a really big part of my mission and to spread love into the world. And so I'm going to show a few different images now on the screen of content that I put up that kind of shows this energy that I'm trying to put out in my Instagram. So when we are trying to create an Instagram or create an online presence, it's really important to really have this mission that you really want to create. So the next part of once you've figured out what the emotions that you're trying to portray on your page are and what the kind of overall energetic purpose of your page is, because I think that in our day and age, like and how we're living, we really want to show up in the world with using our time, our gifts with a true purpose and not just kind of diddly-daddling all over. And sometimes when you have a clear purpose and what you're trying to do, it really helps you create your online business. So, there's many ways you can create an online business today, and I think the main ways that people are presenting themselves are through Instagram, through a website, and this can be a blogger website where you share different ideas, different thoughts, different things, or it could be, that's something that maybe it's something that you're doing already, or it's something that you potentially might want to do. Another way that people are presenting themselves is through YouTube. There are people who create YouTube content, whether it's about things that they're interested in or yoga content, and I'll be talking a little bit about that as well. And then, so those are kind of the main ways that I see people showing up. I mean, obviously there's Pinterest, Twitter, there's different other means, but I think the main ones that I see are, and one other one I'll mention is Facebook. So those are the 4 top kind of ways that people are showing up. And so if you do decide you want to create an online business, I think the first thing that you want to do is, like I said, define what your purpose is. Why are you creating this business? What is it that what are the emotions that you want to convey? And then the next step is maybe creating a name. So when it comes to naming your business, is it a name that is related to your personal name, or is it a name that kind of holds an emotion or thought or is descriptive in some way? So once you create a name for your business, or use your own name, there's people who use, their own name and then plus yoga or meditation or whatever their niche is. I think you can now start to create maybe a descriptive logo. So today I'm going to be sharing the creative process. I think it's really important to be iterative with your process, and so it's not important, you don't have to develop this overnight, and this can be a process. It can be something that you really work with for time, and so don't feel like you need to just figure out all the details overnight, and give yourself that time and space to really say, is this something that I want to do, and really connect with that on a soul level. So once you figure out, what you want to name your business, like I said, it can either be, like for example, my name is Asya Kaki, or it could be Asya Yoga, or some kind of play on my own name. Like I've always dappled with the idea of doing like Ramadasya or something like that. Or is it something that you want to create a name that's like beyond your own kind of identity and something that, unites people? Like yesterday I was looking online and I saw things like kosha yoga, or, there's like drishti yoga, or, something that maybe calls to you within the yoga world or within the health space that you want to get into. So that's another thing, is how you name your business. After you come up with a name for your business, there's other things that you can think about, right? There are, for example, a logo. Branding is so important, and I think it's an important step to do early on in your yoga business, because it allows you to start building kind of recognition, brand recognition. Whether, for example, when it comes to your Instagram, you can either, for example, have your Instagram be around you as a person, and then have your brand be your overarching thing that you kind of send people to, like for your website. So that's what I think most of the influencers that I have seen out there do, is where they, for example, like there's a girl that I know she created the brand My Fit Nest, The Fit Nest. And then her specific Instagram is for her personality. But on her YouTube, it is The Fit Nest. So those are all the things that you want to start thinking about, is as you start creating different channels for your business, how are you branding it so that it's kind of consistent with what is in line with how you want to show up? And are you building your audience on your personal Instagram, or is it through your brand name, or do you want to have both and then work on both? It's really a lot of work to create an Instagram and to run it and to do it mindfully. And so sometimes it's good to just get those names under you, and then as you decide to grow and as you decide to cultivate your business and work on it, you can have those names secured as you start to come and think of them. Okay, so today I wanted to first start with just, so now that we've covered basically all the different social media platforms there are, we covered the importance of choosing a name that's in line with your soul's purpose, the importance of creating a logo. I'm going to be later on in this seminar talking about how to create a logo and the iterative process, and showing how I've been working on this specifically for my own businesses that I've been working on, and how you can create something that really is genuine to you. So next I wanted to talk to you guys specifically about just how to create unique content and lighting and cameras. I have 10 years of experience in the photography business, and so I wanted to just show a little bit about lighting and clarity. So as you guys see me right now, I'm up against a background. There is light coming in from this side. You can probably see the light is coming on, and I have shadows on my face. So this is what I would call like 45-degree lighting. If I, for example, start to move this way, and I'll start to turn, you'll get to see a little bit of my apartment. This is called beauty lighting. So this is where the light is coming in and completely lighting me, you know, the front of my face. There's hardly any shadows. And a lot of times people who maybe don't have a natural light source in their home, they will oftentimes have this type of ring light that they purchase from from Amazon, and this is a way to have kind of like consistent lighting if this is something that you want to create. So I'm just going to keep turning so that you guys can see what happens when you kind of change the lighting. So now you can see the light is starting to come in from this side, and now I have shadows on this side of my face. So I'm going to keep turning because I think this is a really good exercise. So now I'm exactly half and half with the light. So you can see there's light on this side of my face, but there's dark on this side of my face. And as you can see, I'm going to show you what happens as we keep going here. So now it's starting to become even darker on my face because the light source is now starting to come behind me. And so as we keep going behind me, now this is called backlighting. So this is where the light is almost like luminescent and it is behind me, and it has a very different vibe and different kind of energetic look to where we started out. So I think that there's no right and wrong way. Maybe this is the way that you like to show up, with this kind of luminescent look and having the light come in from behind you. The reason I wanted to demonstrate this is that as you take videos, wherever you are in space, wherever you take a video, you always want to be cognizant of what type of lighting and what type of effect that you're creating. So I'm going to keep rotating now because I kind of prefer the equal kind of exposure. Okay, so as you can see now, I'm back into the original camera angle, and you can see I like this type of lighting. This is a very typical studio type of lighting where you have 45-degree light. You saw the light is right over there at a 45-degree angle, and there's a little bit of shadow, so I'm not completely flat. But if I was maybe a blogger that was all into beauty and everything, I might want that flat lighting, which was also super beautiful, which would mean maybe I would need to change the direction of my backdrop. But I'm going to stay here for now. So that exercise hopefully demonstrated to you just how easy it is to really, to kind of really see the differences in light. Okay, so the next topic I wanted to cover is sound. So sound has actually been something that if you are deciding to record online videos, I had quite a bit of a struggle trying to figure out what is good sound, how to get it, and I don't think I'm completely there yet, but I wanted to show what I've learned so far through the process. And I don't know if this is something that that you want to do or not, but if you do decide to create online videos for your yoga business, and basically there's a few ways. So this is I'm plugged into a lavalier mic right now. So this is streaming audio from my phone that I've plugged in with a Dougal straight to this mic, and then it's coming here, and then you can hear me. And so it kind of helps with background noise and different things like that. So whenever you're recording a video, you want to be conscious of what are the noises around you, and are they helpful to what you're trying to record, or are they distracting? So it's kind of important to think about that. Another way to do it is to maybe have a voice recorder and then sync the audio after, but that starts to get a little bit complicated, and it depends on what you're trying to do. Another thing that you can do is record your footage and then upload the videos to your computer, and then from there do a voiceover. So I've tried a lot of different also wireless mics and things like that, and I've till now not completely figured it out. So in terms of having a super affordable, easy way, but I do find that, for example, maybe recording the intro with a lavalier and saying, "Hi, namaste, we're on this yoga journey, we're gonna do this class," or whatever, doing your intro with the lavalier, and then going into the practice, doing a voiceover, and then ending the class with a personalized note, that can also work. So there's different ways to think about it, and if this is something that you want to experiment with, you can try out different methods. I tried wireless mics that tie to your head, and I found them really distracting, especially when I was trying to do asanas. And then also it kind of is you can kind of also think about the fact of, do you want to be teaching while you do the practice, or do you want to just be experiencing the practice? They both have a completely different energy, and sometimes when you're actually practicing yoga, you'll be, channeling different ideas and things will come into your head. So sometimes it's nice to be live teaching, and sometimes you just want to connect to your breath and your body, and then you can record the audio and the voiceover later. So, giving yourself that flexibility. When you're beginning to create videos, if it's something that you're just kind of thinking about and you're not sure, it's kind of a good idea to just try out different things. And my whole idea about teaching this today was that we really don't need to go and buy fancy equipment and feel like super intimidated by everything. I think the idea was more just, what can I do? What are some easy methods to just kind of get the business rolling, and if this is something that you want to create online. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is a tripod. So it's really difficult sometimes to record yourself when you're like, trying to figure out the camera angle and you're not sure if you're in the frame and if your hands are going to be in. And so this is just a simple thing that I wanted to talk about, and it's so easy, and I'll show you the hack. So I'm going to actually unhook you from the tripod that you're on. And basically this is the tripod that I'm using. This tripod it cost me $20, not even $20. I think it was $18 from Amazon. And the cool thing about it is it has a Bluetooth trigger on it, and so I can start and stop video using that. So say like I wanted to take a photo of myself in nature somewhere and I don't have anyone to take a photo of me. There's two options. One is you can take a video clip of yourself and then screenshot the video clip, or you can use the Bluetooth trigger and use that. So this is called UB Size Tripod Pro, and I think the good thing about having a tripod is you can make those small little adjustments and really kind of create the frame that you want. So I'm going to put it back on now, but I just wanted to show you how small and portable this is. And now, for example, you can see there's like a little bit of the wall ahead, so you can hold the tripod and adjust it and make those little adjustments without like when you're trying to balance your phone on a rock or something like that, or it can be really challenging, and just having this small tripod allows you to make those adjustments really seamlessly. So it's a great investment, especially if you want to start taking like inspirational photos or videos of yourself in nature or in other places, because this is something that you can literally pack into a pocket or a small backpack and bring with you to create awesome content that's really clear and nice and aligned and everything like that. So that's a super good investment. The lavalier that I have, if you do think the quality sounds good, and I'm going to actually do a quick demonstration here of what it sounds like with and without the lavalier, so you can hear my voice and how it sounds. Now I'm going to unplug it. And so now this is the audio from the actual iPhone, and you can see there might be a slight difference in the audio quality, but it's not necessarily super distracting or super different. So it's what I'm trying to say is that the iPhone itself has a really good built-in microphone, and you might even prefer that sound to the sound of a lavalier. Today I'm just using the lavalier, but sometimes I will just use the iPhone audio mic and just make sure that I have, not too much background noise. I do have the window open today, so you might be hearing some of that. My thermostat makes a little bit of noise, so it's just kind of being cognizant of what are the sounds around you. And I'm going to plug this back in. Are those sounds that you want to have in your video and in the background of what you're trying to create and what you're trying to record? So the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about, so we've talked about tripods, we've talked a little bit about sound and like the options of, voiceover or versus using a lavalier. So the other idea that I haven't tested out yet, but what I was thinking is, what if I record the audio on this and then sync it afterwards? But like I said, this is a process, and it depends. Like when you're doing your practice teach, it might be just good enough to use your phone microphone. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is camera angle. So whenever you're doing a yoga practice, from what I've learned the last few weeks, and I looked at a lot of people's videos online as well as experimented a lot on my own, is camera angle is really important because it either can be super distracting or it won't really show a pose. So I'm going to show a clip now of a practice I recorded this morning, and I recorded it from 2 angles. So this is the first angle, which was recorded from my iPhone from the straight camera angle where the mat was in front of me. And you can see basically that it's not really descriptive, or it doesn't really show my entire body. And so in many ways this is a little bit distracting because I really don't feel like the full version of my body is showing, and I think it's kind of it's hard to really see what's going on, right? And then the second angle is from my from the side view, and this view really shows the full practice. So if you only have one camera view, I really recommend doing it the lengthwise, because I think most of the asana, when you're lengthwise on your mat, you can really see everything more clearly. Another thing you might want to be doing is taking, for example, some poses and rotating your body so that it demonstrates the pose a little bit better. And that may mean like kind of stepping off your mat a little bit, but if it shows kind of the full angle of your body, that may be exactly what you want to depict in this type of thing. So like I said, if you have only one camera angle, I really recommend the lengthwise instead of the front view. The other view that I've noticed that people sometimes use is a 3/4 view. And like I said, you are your own creator, you have expression, you have creativity, you're born as a creator. So experiment with different things, but I think that if you only have one, it's nice to do lengthwise. The other thing that you want to really check is maybe doing a posture where your arms go over your head. When you do this posture, then you'll be able to see if your arms fully fit into the frame. And I think it's really nice to not have like body parts cut off when you are filming. And so this is a kind of a nice test to do when you are creating an online yoga film. And so, okay, I wanted to share a few more quick tips on recording things on your phone. So one quick tip is basically each phone has a screen. This is not a phone, but I'm going to use it to demonstrate what I'm talking about. And it has a little camera on it. So what you're going to want to do is use some type of microfiber and really clean off that camera before you start filming. I can even use you can also just use your t-shirt, just as long as it's cotton and it kind of grabs any fibers. So you really want to make sure you start recording with a clean phone. Number 2, think about what you're going to be wearing. Certain colors will photograph better or videograph better than other colors, right? So right now I'm against a dark background, and so white, I like the way that white looks because it's a nice contrast. If I'm, for example, in gray, this might not look as great against this backdrop if I was wearing an entirely gray top as does the white. So you can also start to cognitively think about what makes you feel good. I think it's also important to choose colors and clothing that makes you feel comfortable and really helps you express yourself as you want to be expressed. So just kind of being mindful, instead of just kind of rolling and just being in your sweatpants, but maybe that's the vibe that you want to go for, like a kind of cozy morning practice. So just think about what you wear and how you show up in front of the camera, because when you do put out information or anything, it's coming out. It's just like the same way as if you were to teach a yoga class, would you wear certain things versus if you are a student in a yoga class or if you're doing yoga in your home. So you can think about how you want to show up on camera. The number 3 thing I wanted to discuss was also location scouting. So there are places that you can record, obviously. So some people may be limited inside their home, but if you do have a place in your home, maybe, just minimize clutter in the space. I always say that every single thing in your space has a vibration. And so, for example, if there's a pile of laundry and there's an entire mess and everything is so chaotic, like all of that is like creating a frequency in your space. And so before I start filming anything, I really like to make sure that the place is clean and has a nice vibration. Oftentimes you can set vibration also using sage or music or something to kind of set the tone of the space that you want to be in. If you are recording something and you have copyrighted music in the background, you want to be conscious of that, because anything that you post on YouTube will be flagged if you have copyright content playing in the background. And So you just want to be conscious of using either royalty-free music or music that that you're playing yourself or that kind of thing. Number 4, you want to make sure your phone battery is charged, or your device battery is charged. You know, the worst thing is to get to the spot that you wanted to record to and then see you have an empty battery, or bring a battery pack with you. Number 5, make sure that you have enough space on your device. So sometimes we have to like upload or, you know, like remove things from our actual device and put it onto a backup computer. It's a good policy to have in general, to not have everything that you've ever thought precious to be on your device. It's good to have at least one external hard drive where you also back up photos in case something does happen. And so this is just a good policy to have in your life in general. So yes, then basically location scouting. What is a place that makes you inspired to do yoga? And like I said, it can either be something within your house, like, you know, setting up a place within your house. And if you do choose to be in nature, there are a lot of challenges that come with being in nature. I personally experienced this because I was trying to record outside. Like, you know, you can't control other people or dogs or different things. So there may be external elements that start to present themselves when you do go out in nature. I found that if you do try to do videography in nature, like early morning, a lot of people are still sleeping, so that might be a good time to do it. You want to be mindful of what your background is, and like I said before, you can do the scene. I actually have been using front face camera to record, and I find front face camera great because I can actually like see what is recording. If you do decide to use front face camera, just make sure to look at the camera, which is over here, and not yourself, because you can see the difference between, hi, I'm looking at myself, you look so beautiful, or am I looking at the camera? So you want to make sure that you're really engaging with your viewer instead of engaging with yourself. And the other thing that you want to do is just choose something that inspires you. So I'm going to show a clip here of a place that I absolutely love going. It's this abandoned dock, and I recorded this yoga flow there like a week ago, and it just felt so magical to be on this place. And I think the thing is, when you have an idea, like, just let yourself experience it and try it, and realize that if you fail, that is okay. It is okay to fail. During this whole online teaching yoga process, I feel like I have failed over and over and over again. Like, I feel like I could just count everything as a failure, but really it's opportunity for growth, right? There's 2 ways to look at it. One is a failure, or one is an opportunity for growth. So I think that we learn through iterations. And so, for example, if you have an idea of like, oh, I want to try doing this, or I want to try recording this, like, give it a go, give it a shot, try it. And then if it works, excellent. And if you feel like, oh, it's good, but I could improve it, then try improving it and figuring out what could be better. Maybe it's your wardrobe. You were having wardrobe malfunctions and your shirt kept flying up or something. Or maybe there was a lot of background noise and you were like, okay, maybe I could try. Or maybe it was a super windy day. Also, just being cognitive of where the sun is in the sky and how it's going to change over the duration of an hour, or however long your recording is also important, because lighting, if you are using natural light, is not constant. If you do decide to use artificial light, it definitely has a different vibration and a different energy, and I do see some photographers and videographers use that. I prefer personally natural light because I find it more vibrant and natural and just like connected to nature, which is all the things that I really resonate with. But if you do have artificial lights on, it's the same thing. As like, you can basically set up the lights, turn on the front face camera, do a test, see how it looks, and then go from there. So you don't always have to nail everything on the first go. Like, the creative process is very iterative, and you always are learning by doing. So these were just a few more tips on how to create great video content when you are recording for your yoga class. So memory, clean lens, charge battery, good lighting, scene change, and then if you do fail, just try again and don't really feel too bad about it. And then obviously I already discussed earlier, like camera angle and making sure that your mat shows. And it's a nice thing, like what I usually do is, one other thing I will mention is if it is super windy, it's really hard to get good audio because it's going to sound like the whole time. So in that case, a voiceover might be your best option, or or choosing to go inside and just go into a steady environment. Like if you're doing a practice teach and you need to be teaching live, then it's probably best to just do it in an environment where you're not going to be competing with so much background noise. You can also use, like when I went out to film, I took my yoga mat and everything inside a box, and I put it inside a hand truck. And so just, thinking about things to make it easier and make it an enjoyable experience for yourself. Okay, now online to all of the apps that I love. Okay, so the next topic that I'm going to start to discuss is how to use different apps to help you create professional looking content just using your phone. And most of the stuff and content that I create is using different apps on my phone. And so I'm going to walk you through different recordings, like a series of different recordings of all of my favorite apps, how I use them, and how they can assist you in creating really powerful content just from the click of your phone, which most people already have. All right, so let's go into this portion of this. So hopefully this has been pretty helpful so far.
Okay, so the first app that I'm going to show is actually an app that I'm going to show how to use specifically to create a title slide or something like that. So it's Over. I really like Over because it is super easy to use, and it is nice. It's a nice way to create beautiful, easy content, really quick and easy. So you click Over, and then once you get here, you're going to choose whether you want to put an image in the background, a video, or transparent. So I am going to choose a white background, and then it asks you on the bottom here, what is your size? So this is going to be the title for this entire presentation that I'm making. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the 9:16 and push click. Once you do that, it allows you to add an image, text, graphic, shapes, and videos. So some of these are paid features and some are free. So for example, like the shapes, you do have to pay for that. But I'm going to just add in some cool text. And so I'm going to call this All Things Tech. All things tech for your yoga business, okay? For your yoga business 101. Okay, all things tech yoga business 101. So once you've selected that, there's a bunch of different options, and it's kind of nice sometimes to mix fonts, and that helps really create a clarity that I think is really nice for so you can kind of scroll through all of these. And I think as you start to create online content, it's really important to have a style and a consistency. So choose fonts and things that really resonate with you and that you can use consistently, so that people start to get that brand recognition. So I really like this. And I think what I'll do is I will create another text to, so I'm going to create one more text thing so that each of these things can be a different font. So let's do Liberator at the top, all things tech, and then Yoga Business 101. So this is starting to look like my aesthetic of what I like. And then we can choose color if we want. So color is something that is really important to think about when you are starting to create a brand. And if you do decide, you can either choose, an array of colors, or you can have a color template. I'm going to pop here on Instagram real quick, and I'm going to show a company that I was actually looking at earlier today, because I'm starting to work on creating a new business brand. And so my sister told me, oh, you're looking too similar to SoulCycle. So, brand recognition is not just images, but it's also what colors are people using. And so if you scroll through this Instagram feed, you will notice that, for example, this Instagram feed has a lot of yellow, a lot of this gray, It has these big bold fonts. And so this is what their brand looks like. And so as you scroll through this, you can realize, okay, well, what is my brand going to look like? So now if you look at All Things Tech and you had just looked at theirs, you might be like, wow, that really looks like Soul Cycle. So maybe we'll change it up and we'll do, you know what one of my favorite colors is like this coral color. So we're going to do All Things Tech Yoga Business 101. And then I'm going to sign it. So I'm going to add my name in. So this is just super easy. And I just wanted to demonstrate how quick and easy it is to really create a consistent look. So I've been using Cookies and Cream for my name in a lot of, oops, that's funny that it did a 3 because maybe that is not on accident. Okay, so let's put Asya Kaki there, and I'm going to change the color to maybe like this same family, but actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just keep it simple, and I'm going to choose the same color. So if you see, these apps are pretty, I think, pretty intuitive. So once you have a color palette, it allows you to actually choose that same color. So I think that looks pretty good for what I wanted to do. And then you can either have things on different lines, or if you want to change it, you can just go like this. But it's nice to have I think it looked better on 2 lines. Okay, so sometimes when you're in the iterative process, it is all about, it's all about trying. So I like the way this looks. If you do want to add a background image, it might be fun too, or you could just leave it as it is. So when I'm going here, I just click on the background, and then you can either, select a color, or you can just have it be simple. So I don't know if it looks too much with a background color, or if I should just keep it simple. It seems like it may look better just to be without anything. So yeah, I think I'm gonna ditch the color. I'm gonna go off and just have it, or I'll just do white as the background color. Okay, cool. So then after that, you just click on the top right corner, and then you just push save, and that is already on your computer. So you can see how simple and easy that piece of the thing is. So I like using this for slides, and the cool thing is that it keeps all of your old projects here. And so say you create something like I've been creating yoga online videos and using this type of format. So say you use this, you can always change the font and change the title. You don't have to change the font. You can just change the title tags and use it for different images, and just, import another image. Like I can import an image, from my page, and, quickly change this specific layout, and I can name this, I don't know, Return to the Ocean, or whatever you want to call it, So you can just see that it's once you've created a few different templates, you're able to use those over and over and over again. Okay, awesome. So, and like I can change the color of this, of this background, and I can change the font and put a different thing. So it's really easy, and then export it. And then there's kind of a consistency with the way I'm showing up. Okay, the other app that I wanted to talk about is Canva. So Canva is a super powerful app for design. And this app is great for if you're just starting out your company and you want to create like a logo. So the cool thing about Canva is you can go on here and you can search logo, and you'll get some ideas. And you can scroll through, and like it's pretty cool because you can really you can find something that feels good, like if you like the font of it. So like I like this Euphoria. So let's say we're starting a business called Yogini. I don't know, I just thought of something on the top of my head. But as you can see, like just by following their template here, it is super easy to just kind of come in here, choose this. Now, like I really like the font they chose, but say this color is not my color, although that is my color. But like, let's say we want to change it to like a different color. You can just come and slide in here And like, I also like that color. And then say this picture is not exactly what I want to represent Yogini, you can push plus here at the bottom. And then here you have logos, templates, stickers, shapes. So let's say I want to add like a shape around my thing. So there are a bunch of free ones that you don't have to do anything. So I'm going to just add like a circle because I feel like that makes my logo look really pretty. And I'm going to make it white. And then instead of having this flower up here, what if I want to add something that's more yoga oriented? So I'm going to go yoga in the illustrations. I'm adding an illustration plus, and then they have a bunch of really cool illustrations here that are also free. So I think I like this peaceful warrior because that is like totally my vibe right now. So I'm going to remove this one that they have. So when you just click on it and then push delete, and it goes away. And then I'm going to add this girl in, but I want to make her white. And so I'm just going to click her and then push the white. And now she is there. So I just wanted to demonstrate how quick and easy it is to really start to play with ideas and create a logo for yourself. And then you can just save it. The really cool thing about this app also is that when you are doing it, you are able to, I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, okay. You are able to push this bottom left one that you see down here. So when I push this one, it comes over here. And then you can push either trash, plus, or copy and paste. So I'm going to push the center button, copy and paste. And now it's copied and pasted this. So now I can say, okay, like, yeah, I like this, but what if I change the color? Like, it's just too bright for me. So I just came and chose like that light pink, and I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of nice. And what if I change her to be like gray? So the cool thing is like you don't have to like throw away the old design. So like this was just a little too much for me, but this is starting to look like softer and maybe the direction that I want to go. So that's kind of a cool way to easily change. So Canva is not only good for creating logos, but it is also good for creating a ton of other content. And so what I want to show is, I'm going to show how to go back to the home screen. And basically, you can see here, there's Instagram posts. And when you go to all of these, like this can really start to help you if you want to create really stylized content. You can get a lot of ideas from this. So just by clicking on Instagram posts, you can either do a blank or you can use some of these templates that are really pretty and that maybe really speak to your heart. So let's just scroll through and I'll show you how easy and quick it is to change it. So one thing that I love is quotes on my Instagram feed. So let's think of a quote that would be nice. Let me go to my quote thing and then I'll find one that's nice. So let's say I have a quote that says, failure is the first attempt at learning, which I think is really good because I was just talking about failing. And so let's say I like this, and I don't know who this is by, but so I'm going to write failure is the first attempt at learn. Okay, and then I'm going to do learning in that other font, so at. Okay, so as you see, basically I have to work on resizing this because this is clearly not working. So I'm going to pull this, and then instead of it being left centered, I'm going to center it so that it's like center focused. And then I'm going to delete, I'm going to click on the art and then come on the trash can at the top here because I don't need that part anymore. And then because I want to emphasize the word learning because I think that's a beautiful word, and so I just typed in learning, and this font to me looks way too cursive-y, like I can't even read it. So I'm going to go into fonts down here and find one that feels a little bit more, readable, that's something that I like. So you can just like go on here and you can try out different ones that feel good. Or if you like that one, you could keep it. But it just kind of helps you start to design, beautiful content for your Instagram feed, for your social media, for your website. And it's usually done, with the click of, oops. And so some of these, if you see the ones that have the right crown on them, they are paid. So you can't just use these without paying. But many of the fonts are free. So you can always usually find one that you like that is free. Although I'm seeming to have a hard time right now to find one that looks good and that is free. I don't know what happened. I rotated it accidentally. Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time on this, but let me see if I can just find something that looks like a little bit more legible, but also good. I know there's so many on here because I've used them before. Okay, I think that's fine. So, again, I'm not a big fan of, so say I want to make it consistent with the logo that I made. So now I can just like add in the colors that I use. So basically I just clicked on the background and then it says brand colors and it's the colors that I had saved. So like I like that, and then change the font color to maybe like a dark gray. And now it's like maybe more consistent. Failure is the first attempt at learning. And then at the bottom here, you could add your Instagram handle at Asya. And then the other thing you could do is you can come, once you click on it, you can unclick it and then click it again. And what I was trying to show is that I don't want it to be, well, I don't like the spacing, so I'm going to change the spacing. So I just went to spacing, and then I'm just changing the spacing so that it's not so spread out. The other thing I was trying to do was oh yeah, here it is. So in colors, so you click the white, and then from here, I'm going to just change the opacity so that basically if someone wants to reshare my beautiful quote that I've made here, that my at Asya is not so prominent. So that's pretty cool. I mean, and again, like I could change this if I don't like this Rocks and Boxer or whatever to something that's more like along with my brand fonts. Like I really always am using Trochi or Arimo. So it's kind of cool. But I kind of actually liked the one that they chose, this Roxborough CF. So I'm going to just leave that like that. But I think that looks pretty cool. Like that looks like pretty much in line with my brand and the colors that I like. So it's really fun. So to experiment and to create. And you can also use this to create those title tags. Like I like Over because I find it super quick and easy, and they don't have like a million fonts to choose from. But this app is really nice because it allows you to create really stylized posts and things like that. So like you can see like, okay, look, we have our beautiful logo that we created. And then like now I have this beautiful quote that we made, learning is the first attempt. So you can really do a lot on here. You can also create Instagram stories, animated social media. I'm going to show one more thing. So on Instagram, when you start to develop your page, so here's my page, for example, and one of the things that I was working on was, you see these circles that are below my profile. It says yoga, photography, travel. So these are like your website, and this is how you can really like kind of show up to the world. And it's kind of fun to customize these. And so I recently just customized these, and I'll just show how quick and easy it was to do. So basically I have like yoga, and then when you click on it, it's like, things that are yoga related. And then I have travel, and it's like, photos from traveling around the world. So it's kind of like your little mini website. So what are the things that you stand for? And you can create little boxes for those. So the way you can do it is let's just go like, we'll just do plus. So once you cancel out of Canva, it always like, so let's just do plus. And I'm just going to say Instagram post because I want the square. And then you can go here and let's say one of the things that I stand for is love. And I have, or let's say, okay, food, because let's make it simple. So I just come into illustrations at the bottom, then I push plus, then it brings me to this and I can type in anything. So the icon that I used on my page was the bowl, but let's see if there's anything else that's kind of cool. So the ones that have the crown are paid, or you can choose the free ones. And once you choose a paid one and then you like try to export it, it will just ask you to pay like a $2 or something if you want to use that icon. So if it is an icon that you just fall in love with that that you want to use, you can pay for it. So I like this one too. This is kind of a cool picture. It looks like blueberries and I really like blueberries. So basically when you choose the circle, you can choose again, like my brand colors are here. So let's these are not actually my brand colors, but let's see, we can, usually you just click this. Maybe this, some of them I have found that they don't change colors. And so, but some of them do. So let's see if I can change it. Okay, it looks like this one is not working. So I'm going to just choose one that is easier. So I'm going to go back to illustrations. Let's go to food and we will go in here and click the bowl. Okay, so for the bowl, I'm going to change the color to pink because like let's just say my brand color is pink and I want all of my stuff to be pink. And then for the background of the circle, I want it to be like, let's just say like actually let's not do pink, maybe like that color, just so that it's like it stands out. So once I've done this, I can go to basically duplicate this. So you're going to want to create maybe one for food, one for yoga. So let's just do bottom left corner, that number thing that I just clicked on. From there, center button. And now it's done copy and paste. So now I'm going to delete this one and I'm going to do an illustration for yoga. So let's just add one in because yoga is definitely something that we love here. And so then I get to choose two colors. So I'm going to choose the pink for the head, and for the body, I'm going to choose, for the pink for the head, is it going to let me choose the body, change the color of the body? And then for the body, I'm going to do like this light gray color. So that's pretty. So look, I got food and yoga, and I can keep going. So I can click the next left and say I also really like travel. So let's like delete him and let's just get one for travel, and then I'll export these and show you how to do it. So let's just add in something easy, or like let's just do compass maybe, because that's like a great illustration. Let's find a free compass on here. So some of them are paid, so I'm skipping over those ones because I just want it to use a free one right now. So let's just use that, and I'm going to make it just white. So let's see, do these even look consistent? Maybe I'll make it pink just to make it consistent so that there's a little bit of consistency. So those look really, really beautiful to me. And you can see them all here by clicking the bottom left corner. I'm going to delete. When you click back, it actually cancels you out of it. So I'm going to just export these. So top right corner, and then save as image, and then it says preparing your design, and it exports all of them all together, which is super nice and easy. So I'm going to cancel out of this app, and I'm going to go, and you're going to see that here are my beautiful custom icons. So then when you come into your Instagram, you can just click on these, click on more, you push edit highlight, and then you can go edit cover. And then on the edit cover, you're able to actually upload from your saved photos, and then you can add in these. So this is just ways of kind of showing up a little bit more professional. Like imagine this as your website. You can also be super mindful about what you write. Like I wrote artist and teacher, and then what are people going to find on my page? So I put inspired food, movement and thought, meditation to awaken, beauty of Mother Earth, and then I put a link to my photography page. But this is kind of, something that you want to think about. And this is something that I'm actually just starting to think about more, about what colors really mean to me and how I want to show up. But you can also just look at the big brands and see how they're showing up. So for example, like this is Ollie. She's a yoga person who creates yoga projects. So you can see like what type of content she's mixed in some quotes here, a lot of, asana and poses. What colors does she have going? So these are kind of some things that you could, and then, a link to, it's a brand. And so everything is very descriptive and very, very intentional. And then when you click on her website, what does it show? So these are the things that you can just kind of start to think about as you build your yoga business. Okay, so the other apps that I just wanted to quickly show that I think are really important and fun to use are Pic Collage. So Pic Collage is a great way to put images next to each other. So the other day, for example, I was noticing that I had an improvement in something. So like say, so this is actually the post that I made. So I'm just going to show it real quick. But basically on Monday, I noticed I did a bridge, and then on Wednesday I did a bridge, and it was like quite different in terms of my flexibility. And so in this app, you can basically choose two images and put them next to each other. And this is kind of a nice way to to show growth or something like that. So for our Pic Collage, I'm just going to click these two just because I don't really, and I'm going to delete this one. And all these apps are really, I find like super intuitive to use. So, you don't really have to like be a rocket scientist to like be able to. So anyway, like say that was a before and after of your yoga pose, and then you can add text in and just say like before and then like, add that in. And then, so these are just some of my favorite apps that I just thought I should demonstrate. So you can see what I'm creating here, and that's just, a before and after. And the thing about these apps is that they make it super easy to just like change the background color, change the layout. You have all these options, add text. So it's super fun and easy. And I love this app because it's a really cool app. And let me see if there was any other apps that, okay, so the other apps that I wanted to talk about are Lightroom. So Lightroom, when you are on Instagram, first of all, like if you like, you can either edit your pictures directly on Instagram. So say like I want to create a new post. So I'm going to go new post, and maybe I will just come to my favorites, and let's just choose like an image that seems like a good picture that I would want to post. Okay, so let's just say like this picture of me from Paris. So you can either go next, and then there's the filters. Obviously people know how to use filters usually, and you can change like the intensity of it. And then you can also go like brightness, so try to have a consistent editing style. So that your pictures have a certain, color scheme or things. So usually you can just kind of scroll through after you choose your filter, you can go through each item and you can really kind of choose different things. I tend to like my shadows to be like really less and, like a little bit of a fade. And so that's kind of like the look that I like. So, you want to really try to work on consistency with the way you edit your pictures.
Okay, so the other app that I wanted to show before I close down this seminar is Lightroom. So Lightroom is really great to create consistency also in editing. Sorry, this was a photo I had taken actually in Mongolia, and actually it's kind of cool that it came up here because you can see I brought it into Lightroom because there was so much yellow and green in the image, and I just wanted to desaturate some of that yellow and green out. And I find that is actually a big problem in a lot of photos. And once I desaturated it, it looked a lot cooler. So I'm going to bring in a photo here and just kind of walk through how I would edit it. So you're going to go to the bottom left and you go plus, and then from camera, bottom right, sorry, and then plus from camera roll. And then in the camera roll, I'm going to go to my favorites because I just added this one so that I could edit. So this is a picture I took for myself, and And you can notice that first the crop looks a little off. So you always, you can come in and straighten the crop. Super easy to do, and then push plus. And then I always really like to just brighten up my images and take the contrast down, because I like images to look super airy and beautiful. So exposure up, contrast down, highlights up, shadows up, whites, you can either go up or down. Sometimes down is better. And then blacks, depending on what you want to do, maybe like a little bit more contrasty with the blacks. Once I do that, it's really cool in Lightroom. This is, again, a free app. You can come in and change the white balance. So do you want it to be warmer or cooler? I sometimes like slightly warmer, and I like to add in a little bit of magenta. Once you're in this color, you see this mix on the top right. There's a rainbow. If you click the rainbow, you can basically go in and desaturate and saturate each of the colors individually. So for me, I really find yellows is a big pet peeve of mine. So I like to desaturate my yellows and put my yellows to orange, and it just gives a bit more clarity. So this is the original image, and then you can see how beautifully this is just coming along with these tiny adjustments. So I think that's good for me. So I'm going to push plus, and then export it. So I'm going to push this export button here, and then just going to, how do I export this? Maybe top right. Clearly I'm failing here. I think it's maybe share to. And then I'm just going to say save image. Okay, so now if you are a stickler, you can see that there is a power outlet here, and that might be like super annoying for you. So if you do find things like that annoying, you can go into Photoshop, which is another, again, Photoshop Fix, another free app, and this can be used to help out whatever you're doing. So, I'm going to go plus, add on my phone, recents, and then add in this, this picture. You can see I had a person's buttocks in the last frame because she found her buttocks were like a little off. So you can also do things like that. So spot healing is what I'm going to come in, and I'm just going to cover on top of this, and it just like spot heals it. Isn't that magic? So it's literally just like erasing something like that. And it's so easy, and it makes maybe the picture look a lot better or something like that. You can also do other things in Photoshop, but I generally just use it for those like things, because I find Lightroom does such a good job with all the colors and with everything else. So, and then, when you end up posting it, you can crop and you can do other things, but it's a very good base. So I can just save this to camera roll, and then, so usually that's my first line of editing. And then even if, for example, I was going to come into Instagram, and let me just discard that and say like I was going to come in and let's add that image. You can do another line of editing here. So, you can look through all the filters. Juno is really pretty, and you can, do it at a certain percent to even give it another pop. So like sometimes it's like layers of filters that really kind of convey the energy that you want to have, like that consistent feel of, of colors and things. And it's a lot of it is finding your own voice, finding your own expression, and realizing your expression is perfect. It doesn't have to be like anyone else out there, and really finding your unique voice. So that's like, I think, even more beautiful. And maybe the crop needs to be adjusted, so you can come to adjust and really make sure that you like the way it's being cropped or what's being shown, and then, done or whatever. So I'm just going to cancel this because I already have posted this image back here, and you can see, again, that was the edited, the circuits taken out, the yellows have been desaturated and all of that. Okay, cool. So I covered Lightroom and Photoshop. I know that was super quick, but you can play around with those apps. The next app that is totally essential and amazing, and that will totally help your life, is InShot. And this app is, I think, really amazing and powerful, and I've been loving it. So it's cool to create videos. So I am going to, should I create live with you? Okay, I'll create live with you because I feel like it might be more helpful to see something live versus something. So I just pushed plus, and then I had recorded this morning meditation, And so I'm going to just create like a composite. So whenever I create any type of meditation or something like that, I really want to create some footage that shows where I am, what I'm seeing. So like the first few clips, I'll take atmosphere clips, and then I'll record what I want to record, the actual meditation, and then I'll record like a closing clip so that I can really create atmosphere and create a sense of place and everything like that. So I just clicked on the 4 clips that I needed to basically create ambiance and everything like that. So you can see like this first clip is this beautiful sunrise, and you can hear the birds chirping, and you know, the second clip is really kind of showing where I am.
Good morning. My name is.
So basically, you can see like I'm kind of setting the scene, and then I come in, and then I guide this meditation, and then I end the meditation.
Thank you so much.
And then I have a closing clip. So I just want to go over some really quick ways. If you've never used this app, it's so easy and it's really an amazing app. So the first thing I would do is click on this button that's in between the 2 videos. And when you click on it, you can do a transition. So it just shows you how flawlessly it can translate. And when you click on it, you can either click the right button or the left button. If you click on the left button, sorry, this is annoying. Okay, if you click on the right button, you can see that it just has 1 check mark. And if you click on the left button, you can do transition apply to all. And I love doing that because now the transition has flawlessly been applied here, where it fades from the video to me. So it does it consistently. Okay, another thing that you want to do is also maybe do a filter here. So I'm going to click on the video and then filter, and you just come here, and then it has different default filters. So, you can test out a few, and like this is like nice.
Let me just be guiding.
Okay, so this is nice. It's warm and stuff like that. This is cooler. So maybe cooler is better because there was already a lot of sun on me. But then what extent do I want that filter on me? Well, this looks way too cool and this looks a little warm. So maybe just somewhere in between. Then after you choose the filter, you can push again the top left, the check marks, and apply that filter to all of the clips. Then you can come to adjust. And when you come to adjust, you can also do different things. So there's lightness, but I already think the exposure looked pretty good. Contrast, again, my aesthetic is always to decontrast, but this is my personal aesthetic. I don't love like really contrasty images. Then you can go through all of these things like shadows. I always like to lift the shadows, and sometimes the highlights can come down. And then another cool option they have is grain, which will just add like a grainy look if you like that. Again, you can click on the double click and apply to all, and you can go through each one of these things slowly and at your own pace and really create and be a creator and create content and images and things that really look beautiful to you. So now you can see I have added, I think these are too redundant, so I'm gonna delete that one so that it's so I'm going to delete this first clip so that it's not. So when we have to come out of that dialogue, and then you can just delete it. So I have this beautiful sunrise, and then I have me come in, and all of those filters have already been applied, which is so convenient and so amazing. Okay. Next, what you can do is you can add text. And I love this app because it's just so easy to add text. So I'm going to write sunrise, meditation, okay, if I can spell correctly. And then it's just this app makes it super easy to like adjust, where you want the text in the frame, how long you want it. So like you can see this green box down here. It shows like, do I want it the full duration? Do I want it even over my head? Maybe I just want it on that title slide and then it to be done. And then you can also come in here and you can, when you're adjusting the text, you can go to the top right and you can choose like different fonts, like what font really speaks to you. Again, they just have a select number, and if you want other ones that are in the shopping, like you can just watch an ad and then you get more fonts, which is kind of cool. So like if you don't really feel like any of these speak to you, then you can choose something else. So again, you want to be maybe consistent with your brand. Like, what type of fonts do you want? These are all things to just kind of think about as you start to develop and create your your brand. I'm going to do a duplicate one here, and then I'm going to put, so when you click on it, you can go duplicate, and then I'm going to scroll it right on top of the other one, and then I'm going to use this to be my title slide. So I'm going to erase it and write my name, Asya Kaki, and then come in and do like maybe a similar one to what I had done before. Like the Sedwig is kind of similar to the one that I had done on the title slide, and maybe I'll just put that down there. So let's see. So beautiful. So simple stuff. The other thing that's really nice to do is to add in background music. So I find that when you have music, for example, that you're recording while you record, the quality is terrible and it sounds really bad. And just like for iPhone, it's okay. But if, for example, you're recording using something else, sometimes the audio doesn't mix properly. And you maybe can't change the volume or anything like that. And then, so what you can do is you can come in here after you've done this and you can add music, and then you can go plus tracks. So I already imported music, and I imported it from my computer, and this is a royalty-free track that some guy on YouTube sent me, and it's like really nice, relaxing music. So you can see how beautiful that sounds like with the thing, and it just kind of
Begin by.
And you can see even in this video clip, it was not perfect. There was a little bit of wind and it created like interference, but I made the decision that even though there was a little bit of interference, I still really liked what I said and how it came out, that I still put it out in the world. So sometimes it's kind of that concept of like, if you have this vault of information inside you, are you keeping that vault of information for yourself, or are you sharing it with the world? And I oftentimes have that experience, and I'm like, even if it just positively affects maybe like one or two people, then I'm still going to share it, and in the process I'm learning, right?
Your eyes closed.
So again, you can come in here and you can do volume. So like if you find the background music is too loud, you can go at 50% or 30% and really mix the sound according to what sounds good for you. The other thing, you can come in when you are in this, you can go to volume, and then you can do fade in and fade out, which is nice because then it will like end the clip really smoothly. So it just kind of, and even the nature one, so after you do that, you can even click this, like your last nature clip. And actually what I like to do is I like to go to the volume, I like to extract the audio, and then from there I like to go to volume and fade out. So the natural one also has a proper fade, so that the end of the video is everything coming to a close together. So these are just like small little things that make a really big difference if you are looking at it. And so hopefully this app is like super interesting and helpful as well. Okay, so there is one last app that I want to talk about that is super helpful to creating your online your online yoga business. And this is, well, there's two apps because it's to do with sound. So one is Voice Memo. So I don't know if non-Mac users have a voice memo. I don't think they do, but you do have something if you are an Android user that is for voice recording. And so this app is great. You can do voice recordings, and I'm going to demonstrate in a video with how exactly to record and what position you want to put the mic, and I'll do that in a bit. But in the meantime, I just want to show this other app called Anchor. So Anchor is a really cool app, especially if you are interested in recording meditations. And basically, it's super easy to set up. I basically started recording meditations. You can create a name for yourself, and then you can create different meditations, and it basically has a tool where you can start by, recording the meditations, and I find the quality is really good. You can hear.
Anchor is a powerful platform.
Let me do one that does not have an ad at the beginning of it. So, Awaken and Rise. Let's hear this.
Hello, beautiful beings.
Hello, beautiful beings.
I'm so excited to share space with all of you.
So the way you can basically, the thing that's cool about Anchor is it automatically posts your recordings on many platforms. So if you do decide you want to start a new recording, you just go plus, okay, and then you can just push plus again. And then once you go to plus, you can go record, and you literally can start recording a new meditation just like that. And then once you record it, the cool thing is here, I'll just do a test. Okay, testing for this new meditation that I'm recording. I love you all. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I've done a 7-second recording here. So the cool thing about Anchor is you can add background music. So you can either use your own background music. So I could use the same track that I used for the other one, which is the one that I got from that guy. So you could either add that in, and it will automatically add it in and make it flawless with your audio.
Okay, testing for this new meditation that I'm recording. I love you all. Cool, cool, cool.
So that's awesome because it basically added in the background music and your voice, and it was done in a way that was kind of seamless. You can save it and you can add it to a new episode. And, you can name the segment. Let's just name it Test, and then add recording to an episode. Not yet ready to publish it. So basically what it will do is you can add a title. I think it's really nice. So if you notice, like on here, I try to use the same font, and I just try to use kind of inspiring images for each of the different meditations. And so you can do that. And then you can also see, like, look, one of these, like the third eye meditation, has 46 plays, and it will also tell you like analytics of like where it's being played from, which are the top episodes, like people in Saudi Arabia, United Kingdom, Canada, Tanzania. The cool thing is it also it posts your specific audios on multiple platforms. So it's posted on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts. So that's really cool because you just post it one place and then it goes and it posts it everywhere else. So that's a super easy and simple app to use. And I just find it's really easy, and you can share it with everyone. And it's just a super easy and fun app. So I'm going to now record how exactly you should record a meditation and just show specifics on that. Okay, so this is my desk in my bedroom, and this is where I usually record audios for podcasting and for creating audio, any type of audio file, either voiceover or anything. So if I am doing a voiceover, I will put my lavalier on and then hook it up directly to my computer. And so that just helps create more beautiful sound. And if I'm doing a recording for a podcast, or for the meditations, I do find that the audio mic quality, like on the iPhone, is really good. I almost prefer it to the lavalier. So basically what I will do is I will place this iPhone like on top of like some box or whatever I have. So this is just an external hard drive and a box. But the main thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a structure so that the recording, the audio mic, is as close to my mouth as possible. The other thing that you have to be super aware of whenever you're recording is surfaces. So like, if you've ever been into a sound place, they usually put like styrofoam everywhere because they want to numb the surfaces. So you want to maybe like close the curtains and have less reflective surfaces, because waves basically, if they travel, they go and they hit something and then they'll bounce back. And so if you're trying to create really good audio, you don't want to have a lot of bouncing waves. So this is where I do it, but I know a lot of people will also like go into a small closet and record their audios that way. So you just have to find out the way that works for you. So The other thing that you have to be aware of is if you are doing a meditation or you're recording something and you're flipping through a book, that sound is all going to be picked up. And so that might be really distracting if you are doing like something like a meditation where you want people to be in this like space of Zen. So, one thing you could do is maybe have the text on the computer screen in front of you so you can like slowly scroll without making any noise. So these are just some tips that are super helpful. But yeah, I like to really sit up straight and center myself. The other way that I do record meditations, which may be kind of weird for you, is I actually lie down. And I lie on my back, I cover my body, I cover my eyes, and then I put the microphone right here. Whenever you record anything for anything, make sure that you have airplane mode on, because the worst thing is if you're in the middle of recording something and then someone calls you and it breaks up your audio, and that's going to happen because sometimes you might just forget. But when I am doing it lying on my back, I'll just place the phone here and then record the meditation on my back in complete silence. Okay, so before I end the seminar, I want to do a short, quick review on some of the topics that I discussed at the beginning, just a little bit more in depth with regards to creating your Instagram and creating your brand. But hopefully this was helpful. I mean, I think the thing is, this is a lot of information, and it is information that you can just kind of store away for a later time. Like, don't feel at all overwhelmed by any of this, because I have been, for example, thinking about my own business for so long, and in many ways I went on my Instagram. I had an Instagram just for food, and I did many different types of detoxes and different things, and I looked on my Instagram and I had done the ultimate reset, and I did medical medium diet, and I had done all of these journeys for years or months or weeks or whatever, detox or juiced fast. But I really found that I had just only documented everything with just Instagram. And when I was looking back at it, I have almost like 800 followers on this account, and that's great, but there's no like blog articles or cohesive things that I can actually like look back at and be like, oh, I did this ultimate reset and this was the conclusion. So I know that I can probably convert some of the content that I've already created to an online thing, but as you do start to create content, I think it's nice to kind of think about things from a big picture and to be like, okay, am I creating content just for my Instagram? Am I creating content just for this? And what is the bigger picture? Like, what am I trying to do with all of this? What is the purpose behind it all? So where I'm at in my journey is like, I'm thinking about, okay, I want to actually create an umbrella organization that I can really post all of these different interests that I have, so that I'm sharing, for example, things on Instagram that are related to food, but I'm also able to share my information that I love about travel. So I'm trying to create a brand that encompasses all of these things, instead of feeling kind of like scattered where I'm like, oh, I have like this interest and that interest. But so I'm trying to like start with the branding, start with the business name, start with that, because I feel like that's advice that would have been helpful for me when I was just getting started, to kind of think about, okay, like, how am I going to show up on YouTube? How am I going to show up on Instagram, on Facebook? And at no means do you need to do all of these things. Do what resonates with you, and at no point feel overwhelmed by any of this information, because ultimately you want to create something that feels genuine and it feels good to you. And sometimes it means kind of stepping back from everything and really reflecting on what it is that resonates on a soul level, and then going from there. So I'm going to end this seminar with just a few more slides that I feel were really helpful. So I'm going to first place a slide that you see on here that is talking about just some of the branding techniques. So when we are creating content on Instagram or anywhere, we really want to, I think, write from a place that is within our hearts, and that is not just like, creating content for the sake of it. So when you do create a content from the heart, I think that it's really important to create captions that connect. And when you do that, it's like, you're really reflecting on what is it that is really important to you. And when you reflect in this way, I think the captions that you create really connect with your followers and attract the tribe that you are trying to attract into your life. And so, that's a really great way. I think also the other thing is, like, you can post beautiful photos, but if the captions are not necessarily connecting with other people, it might not have the same power as it potentially could have. Again, you want to maybe have a consistency in your theme, in your colors, in the way that you show up to the world, so that really that, people feel a consistency with you. I think it's important when you are creating a brand to have a little bit of you in it, even if it's uncomfortable, maybe a little bit, but it could be just you holding your coffee mug or holding your cat, or different things that show a little bit of you. And if it is yoga related, it could be asana, or it could be different things that really inspire you, or maybe even something that you learned in your yoga class. So you can kind of think about different things that really relate to you and that make you feel good. I think the other thing about creating images, specifically, from the photography standpoint, when it is about creating stuff for your social media, is, really try to create images that are, like, not necessarily selling a product or anything like that, but that are really kind of showing something more, showing an emotion or telling a story or something like that. Something that really helps people connect on a deeper level, other than just, oh, beautiful photo, great. And these are all things that I'm working on. I'm by no means a master in any of this. Okay, I think I've talked about everything that I wanted to. Hopefully the apps that I showed were helpful. I just wanted to mention one last thing, that the lavalier that I'm using is $10, and it's called Sabrent, Sabrent. So I bought it from Micro City, and you can go online and purchase this if you find that the audio quality is a little better with the lavalier. And I already mentioned the tripod. So I think those are two things that are under $30 that can really start to help upgrade your business. And then, when it comes to storage, like, I obviously am a photographer, so I have a lot of storage, but, like, for example, this hard drive is a Western Digital hard drive, and this is 4 terabytes of memory. So whenever you are starting to create content and you want to make sure to be able to back it up, it's really good to create systems for your computer and for having a backup. And so maybe I will actually just talk on this briefly, because it is something that I kind of have done with my photography business and that I continue to do with my yoga content. But it's really good to have 2 copies of everything. So these are, I think 4 terabytes each. I think they were about $100 each. And 4 terabytes will last you, like, if you're not creating crazy amounts of content, 4 terabytes will last you a very long time. And so maybe you only need a 2 terabyte one, and maybe they're around $50 or 100, less than that. So always buy 2 copies of your hard drives, and you want to copy your content. If this content is important to you and you don't want to lose the content, it's always best to create 2 copies of everything, because that way, if, say, this hard drive fails, then you always have a second copy. And so as you create content, it's really great to organize it by date. I usually do by date, and then within the date you can do further categories, because I think when you do think back and when you are trying to say, oh, like, what was that, you want to use descriptive names. So like if you record, for example, like a Hatha heart opening class, like, you can call it Hatha heart opening class, and start with the date, and then that will help you really create a nice online catalog for your stuff, so that when you do need to access anything, it's super easy, and you can be like, oh yeah, I did that in 2020, in during Corona times, in March of 2020, and this is the name. Or in May, I guess we're in May now, it seems like time flies by, but it's a really great way to be able to catalog everything and have everything organized. So my recommendation is to just not leave everything on your phone. Like, take it off your phone, figure out a way to get it off your phone. I know there's one service that I do pay for, and it's called Dropbox, and Dropbox is really cool because they have a feature on Dropbox where you can just push camera upload, and it basically takes all of your camera images and it puts them on the cloud. And so that's really cool because it also syncs it with a computer. So if you, for example, have a computer that is connected with your Dropbox, it will automatically take those files and if you keep the Dropbox app open for overnight, say example, it will automatically take those files and back them up onto the cloud, and then it will download them onto your computer. So then everything is synced across many platforms. So in addition to hard drives, it is also good to maybe think about cloud storage, because that is a way that you can make sure that all of your content is backed up. I generally don't back up things on cloud storage forever. I do, cloud storage for maybe 1 year, and then all of 2018 and 2019 stuff is off the cloud storage. And then, but it is because I'm a professional photographer and I have like gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes of stuff. But if you, for example, don't, 1 terabyte, the paid service of $100 a year or whatever may be worth investing in, so that you can have 100% cloud storage all the time of everything you've ever created. But if you are deciding to become a content creator, then storage is something that you're definitely going to have to think about, and think about mindfully. Okay, I think that wraps it up. I'm so happy to have shared all of this information with you. I hope you found it helpful, and I love you all so incredibly much. And I felt like I had to record this seminar because I see everyone starting to create videos, and hopefully these tips were super helpful. I love you, and have an incredible and fabulous rest of your day. Be well, and make sure to stay in touch with me. If you have any questions, just let me know. If you found this seminar helpful, let me know so I can create more content that is helpful for you guys. I love you. Take care.